What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mistick's MMOs. I'm your host, Mistick Raven, and it's 2022, and the question is DC Universe Online worth playing in 2022? In this video, I will give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the truth of whether or not this game is right for you and worth playing this year. Stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. But before we do, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification for future updates. DC Universe has been one of my most favorite games in the past. It has been my haven when other MMOs have gotten stale or just outright made me upset. From time to time, I always found myself coming back to this game because of the combat system. It seems simplistic, but it has aged well. Yes, the graphics might seem a little outdated considering it uses the Unreal 3 engine, but the game is also available on all platforms. That means PC, PS, Xbox, and Switch. There's no other game that has that much accessibility. Unfortunately, though, the game isn't cross-platformed. On all platforms, only the PC and the PS share the same server. If people claim that this game is dead, I assure you it is far from. As you can see here, the population is high. One of the reasons it's so high, especially for PC and PS players, is because they share the same server. Unfortunately, Xbox and Switch do not, making their population much lower, but at the same time, accessible. Character creation is somewhat to be desired, meaning you're limited, but you have a lot of options. There are no races in this game, so whatever you decide to go with just enhances the aesthetics down the road for your character. As you can see here, the female avatars, no matter what size, have kind of the same proportion, where the male figures differ in 3 different sizes in waistline, but differ slightly in height, where the females look all the same, just slightly different in height. I really think they could do a little better in this, but once again, it is a little outdated. But as you're going through the customization, you can see where the potential lies. Meaning you can literally change your hair color, change your hairstyle, change the basically, if you want to be a leopard, you can do that. There are so many options when it comes to how your character is going to look in the gear later down the road. What I mean is, you have limited outfits that you can use in creation. That's kind of a problem. So, heads up. There's a difference between the free version of this game and the premium or subscription based. What I mean is, you'll have access to certain power sets based on your options, what you start off with. Base game comes with nature, sorcery, mental, fire, ice, and gadgets. The other power sets are going to be behind a subscription or premium membership. When you do that, you'll have access to other power sets. Keep in mind that this is a business and not everything is for free. If you pay, you get light, electric, you'll get earth, you'll get quantum, you'll get celestial, You'll get rage, you'll get munitions, atomic, and of course, water. The leveling in DC is a little bland. Pretty much fetch quest. Go here, go there, follow the storyline, blah, 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 blah. This part of the game can be a little discouraging for new players. Why? Because it's not very interactive. Basically, even as you're doing it, within the next first hour or two, you just want to quit. But for the players that stick it out, it's very rewarding. And the movement speeds, the movement styles, something so satisfying about playing an MMO that's three-dimensional. Meaning I can go up, I can go down, I can scale buildings with super speed, fly up in the air, skim the roads. It is amazing how well the movement and combat system feels in this game. Once you get past the leveling, there are monotonous parts of the game, for sure. But the leveling, yeah. If you can make it past it, you found a keeper. If you can't, then you never really gave it a shot. If you stick around and make it to level 30, this is where the fun begins. As a player in DC, you'll have access to playing dual roles, meaning you can play a support role like a healer, a controller, a tank, or a DPS. Each power set has a support role and a damage role. The armory system in the game allows you to switch your role and your build configurations on the fly. Unlike other games that have to use assistance, Elder Scrolls Online, I can just simply get an armory. The first one's given to me free in game, then I can purchase another armory in the marketplace and then be able to switch my build as easy as pushing a button. This will switch my loadout and my stat configuration for each build. This makes the gameplay so much more fun, especially when you go from a group content to solo content. It is simply one of the most phenomenal features in any game. The layer system is very important because the generator will allow you to have access to mods to customize your primary role as far as whether you're going to go might, precision, healer, or damage. It is very important to understand that the generator system is a function of your build. The mainframe in the layer also has a function because you'll have access to other trinkets and mods and supply drops that will benefit you in combat. Keep in mind you have to recharge the generator and replace the cells every so 30 days. But once you do this, you can go ahead, unlock any of the mods, go to the vendor that you're going to have in your home, then simply scroll down and access the tactical mods, giving your build a unique flavor and customization to whatever content you're going to be tackling. DCUO has a great queue system with the Omnibus and the custom play. This gives new players and vet players access to play content and be rewarded regardless of what tier content you're playing. The only downside is there is no check system for players that are selecting to play a support role and decide to queue up as one, then enter the game and don't play that role. Unfortunately, this can lead to a lot of frustration for pugs or random players that are unable to complete content because there's no support classes. There's a difference between event, which is pretty basic, just gives you accessibility to learn the mechanics and accessibility to the new content. Then there's a difference between your standard content, which is normal or even elite. Getting into the harder content without proper support roles can lead to long durated experiences that are grueling. This is one thing I wish they would attend to, so players can be properly matched up in content and complete it rather than be punished for it. Players who've never played DC Universe Online might think it's an easy game, but I assure you, the devs know how to challenge its community. If you get a good group, you can pretty much get through most normals. But as a player, depending on what role you're playing, you have to pay attention to mechanics. Mechanics are important in this game, and the challenges are there. Sure, you can play event version and pretty much breeze through that content. Get to normal version, it gets a little harder. Get to elite, and you better be on your toes. One of the best aspects to this game is you're going to be rewarded for accomplishing feats. The more feats you accomplish, the more skill points you get, thus making your character stronger. Unlike other games where you're just mindlessly going through the content because there's no form of progression, in DC Universe, you do have progression. You do have things to do constantly, thus enjoying the gameplay and repeating the content to try to get those challenges accomplished. This is something that the devs excel at. Hands down, out of any MMO, whether it be older or newer, DC devs hit this one head on, pound for pound, every day. Excellent. One of the bad things about DC is they're working with a small team. They continuously do update content. So we get about 2 episodes a year, which is actually really good. And I enjoy the alternative universe that they've set in this game. It really makes what you know about the comics versus what you experience in the game familiar, but slightly different. Unfortunately, every episode usually comes with a zone, a 2-player, a 4-player, and a raid. Now, as you're progressing, it gets a little monotonous. Raids are on weekly lockouts. 2-mans, 4-mans can be done daily. Zones will have a weekly missions to do, along with dailies. So that content is really monotonous and gets a little stagnant no matter how good the devs do, because they're working with a smaller team. I really wish Daybreak would go ahead and expand on the episode content. They do such a great job, and if they would do this a little bit better, it would be noticeable. One of the best aspects that the devs do, though, is make older content refreshing and consistent when they change over the token currency. This allows you to play older content and get source stones to keep advancing your character's artifacts, or trying to get old styles that you need to complete, or even luxury items like chromo, auras, all sorts of stuff. This is done very well. So I gotta give the devs credit. The devs do an excellent job. Unfortunately, they're just a little short-handed to really expand on the possibilities. I'm not saying that they need to do a lot more, just break up the monotony a little bit. The conclusion is this. This game isn't going to be for everybody. And that's the truth. Also, if you're a player who's fixed on graphics and don't like the aesthetics, then you've already have your mind made up. However, if you're a player who hasn't experienced DC Universe, I would encourage you to give it a shot. It's free to download and the episodes are free. And unlike other games, you don't have to pay for expansions or chapters. However, if you really want to get the most out of the game, I do recommend that you get the subscription. But you get an opportunity to try the game out to decide if that's for you. The gameplay is still up to snuff, even though it's 11 years old. And in 2022, with the game market even being saturated, not many games can hold up to this combat system, let alone challenge the players and reward them for their progression. Overall, I think the devs do a great job, and I'm having a blast here playing the game. The question of it is DC Universe a game for you? Only one person can decide that, and that's you. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, smash that thumb button, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications. As always, I'm Mistick Raven. This is Mistick's MMOs. Have a nice day.